This is what the site looks like now. This was taken in October, and you can see that the 1.6 million square feet of building takes up the lion's share of a 50-acre site. It's the 15th largest infrastructure project in Canada right now. That's a huge project. 1,792 precast panels are used in the closing out of the facility that fill 30,000 receptacles. And here's an interesting fact, 17 million feet of wire, or 3,219 miles, enough wire to stretch a cable from Newfoundland to Vancouver.
I got to say, Minister Matthew and this government have done more to transform our experience of Emerge than I think any other government has. So the days where you'd walk in, and this is 75,000 people a year being treated in here, the days of benches and benches of chairs, and you walk in and every chair is occupied and you go, oh my goodness, this is going to be hours. We have about 12 chairs here. And if you look right through, I'm going to use my pointer, you see these doors here. Those are triage registration desks. There's 5 of them. Today we have 1. So when we say almost zero wait time, you walk in and there are 5 triage nurses set up who will receive you as you come in. If you're the 6th person, you might have to wait a bit, but generally people move through very, very quickly through these. You're pulled out of that triage reception area and moved back into sub areas of the Emerge department that's more appropriate for what you're in for. If you're acute, you're coming in with massive trauma or an emergent heart issue, you're going to be moving immediately through this section into the trauma areas. But there's several other, if you're fast track, you're in with something fairly minor, we can move you very quickly through it. To say you're not going to wait for Emerge treatment, I don't think is quite true, because you're always going to be waiting for diagnostic testing, for lab work to come back. Nobody has a doctor behind every triage station. You're going to have, once you get back to the area, there may be some queuing as you wait for the doctor. But the idea of that huge central waiting room is long, long gone now. And it's great with a new hospital, we can make that happen. 80% of these rooms are single patient rooms, so everybody's getting a very personal care experience. And what's really nice about this, instead of a corridor, a long, narrow corridor with doors coming off of it, which is traditional design, each two rooms share a little alcove. So there's a clear address for each patient room as you come down that corridor, and you don't get that sort of tunnel feel as you're coming through it. You can see the nursing charting station. So there's the nurses are assigned to these 12 beds. They are charting just outside the door. PPE equipment, which is the protective equipment that they may need if you have an infectious disease or if you're vulnerable to infectious disease, is stored outside, so we don't have to throw all of that out when we're done. So a really, really interesting and great design. So we are on time, on budget. Should knock on wood when I say that, but we are still almost 2 years from today, we will be starting to transfer patients up to the new site.
Very pleased to see John Oliver's presentation on the hospital. I'm looking forward to my tour this afternoon. Kevin, of course, has kept me up to date. Every brick that goes into that building I hear about from Kevin, and I'm looking forward to seeing it with my own eyes. I think it will be a fantastic addition to healthcare in this area. I also want to acknowledge John Oliver, the Hilton Healthcare CEO. He's given us some news that we're not very happy about. He's decided to move on, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you on a job extremely well done. Thank you. So as the hospital goes up, we hear 900 workers on site. It is about the economy too. At its peak, 1,200 workers on site. It's an extraordinary asset for this community and would not have happened without the support of your community. And I know I saw Rob Burton come in, and I know Rob has been exemplary in his commitment to this hospital, so thank you. This is not the only project in the area. There's a major redevelopment underway in Milton, Georgetown. Joe Brandt is almost getting a whole new hospital. We've expanded the scope of the addition there. It's great news in this area. A long neglected part of our healthcare system has been mental health. And this is where I need to give a huge shout out to Kevin Flynn. Kevin, as I hope you know, chaired the 3-party committee that looked into mental health across the province. Kevin did an extraordinary job bringing members from 3 parties into one united group who gave us great great recommendations on what we needed to do to improve mental health and addictions care in this province. The result of that work was the introduction of our mental health and addictions 10-year plan, years 0 to 3, focused on children and youth, because 70% of mental illness actually appears in childhood and adolescence. So we focus first on children and youth, and then we're going to, years 4 through 10, focus on adults. So we've come a long way on our journey to transform our healthcare system. The action plan is working, but we're not resting on our laurels. So what is the next step in our journey as we implement the elements of the action plan? I absolutely believe we have to listen more to patients. In fact, I talk about an obsessive focus on patient-centered care. So I think it's really important that we move from the old model, which was doing things to patients and then doing things for patients. I think we're now doing things with patients, and we're increasingly, in my opinion, learning from our patients. We have to listen a whole lot more to patients so that our system works for them, that they don't have to fit into our system, that our system works for them. Evidence is clear: when patients are engaged in their own care, hospital days are shorter, patient outcomes are better. For me, it's easy. Patients are paying the bills. We work for them. It's not up to them to fit into our system. Our system needs to work for them.